Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to open up some packs from the 1991 to 92 NHL Series 2 Pro Set Platinum. And in there are a couple of really good cards, so we'll start with our packs here. A couple things to know. Over here we have our Champions Podium. I may come up with a different name for that, but we'll start with that. As we open packs, we're going to put the best card we've got on the podium, and it'll stay there until we find a better card in a future pack, until only one is standing at the end. And as we go, for anything really good, we'll hit it with the horn. And anything really bad, we'll give it the other horn. So there's a few good cards in here, a couple good rookies, and even some celebrity inserts, which may have some value on top of being fun. So with that, let's start opening these up and seeing what we've got. So of the celebrities, there's a couple good ones like Mr. Rogers, there's the Karate Kid, but let's see what we've got here. So we're starting out with Al MacInnis of the Calgary Flames. And again, as we are looking through these, we're going to look up the prices for each. And as we get more familiar, it'll go a little faster. But part of the fun is finding out what are those cards that aren't the huge ones worth thousands of dollars that may be considered commons but actually have value. So we'll go through and check these out as we go. And here we have number 276, which is Al MacInnis from the Calgary Flames. And he's around a common card, around $1.75. Next up, we have the Wales Conference. So this is going to be a little bit different. And I'll try to show the fronts of the cards as well, so we can kind of see them as we go and learn what they are about. And these are cool too, because they're one of the first, I believe, hockey cards that have the full edge-to-edge photograph on it, as well as the glossy surface. So it's a pretty cool set for that. But we got card number 281 for the Wales Conference. And that one's a common card as well. Gary Galley, 211 of the Philadelphia Flyers. So they had some pretty good players. But let's see how his price performs. And a common as well. Ooh, we have Arturs Irbe, the San Jose Sharks goalie, who was definitely a really good goalie. So let's see how his card value is. This is around a $2 card, and but relatively common. Really cool picture too on that one. Next we have Kevin Holler, number 250, and he was on the Buffalo Sabres. And this one's going to be also another common card. And we'll move on to Vladimir Ruzicka, 152 of the Boston Bruins. And another common there as well. Let's take a look at the front of that one as we go. All right, interesting shot. It looks cool, but very not as animated as other photos from cards, but still cool. And Gord Murphy, 156, also from the Boston Bruins. So some teammates in that pack, back to back. And his card is around a $2 card. Again, still within that common range. Calle Johansson, 243 of the Washington Capitals. And he's a common card as well. So come on, pack. We're looking for something good. A celebrity, a rookie. I think there's a Pavel Bure rookie in this set. A Nicholas Lindstrom. So here we've got Kirk McLean, 239. And a great goalie for the Vancouver Canucks. But also a common in this set, Brian Benning, 182 of the Los Angeles Kings. Now he's showing us around $25 in a PSA 10. So we'll tuck him in a separate pile. And then anything that may be worth grading, we'll kind of look at later in more detail and check those out. But even at that, $25 for a 10, it's very tough to get a 10. And the grading itself may cost around that between the services and shipping. So who knows what we'll do, but he's definitely a little bit above a common, so we'll toss that aside for now. Next up, we have Neil Wilkinson, number 229 of the San Jose Sharks. And he's coming in at around a common as well. And last card in this pack, Clint Malarchuk, 159 of the Buffalo Sabres. And let's see what he brings us. Just a little over $1. So another common card there. All right, one pack in. Let's check the next. Let's get something good. Let's get something really good. All right, we're starting up. We have Steve Larmer of the Chicago Blackhawks, number 287. And he's coming in a little over $1, also a common. Mike Richter, New York Rangers goalie, number 279. Definitely a really good player. The card value does come in as a common, though for any Rangers fans, you'll definitely recognize that name. Scott Mellenby of the Edmonton Oilers, number 173. And also common as well. And so what's good, though, is we're seeing this, we're learning kind of who's who. So we'll go through faster as names come up again. All right. Here we have a celebrity captain, and none other than Larry King, very popular talk show host. And let's check his value, number 292. Even if it isn't too valuable, it's definitely cool. And yeah, even ungraded, this comes in a little over common price. And so definitely worth checking the grading. And because he's a popular talk show host, definitely worth putting aside. So put him in the celebrity pile. Next up, whoa, we got Pavel Bure of the Vancouver Canucks. Incredible player, number 272. And this card in a PSA 10 is going to be around $95. So we got one. We finally got a really good card. And as you know, for the good ones, let's give it to them. And we'll drop the flames as well, because this is definitely a great player. So Pavel Bure, we'll tuck him in a sleeve, and then he'll go into our pile of cards to determine if they're worth being graded. Because again, the difference between a 10 and a 9 in price could be drastic. So this has a, maybe it's $95 as a 10. It might be $15 as a 9. Way more than the grading cost. So at some point, we may spend some time analyzing all the cards that may go to grading, looking at corners, centering, things like that, and then take a little adventure and see which ones are the best of what we've got, and then send them in and see what comes back, and hopefully we hit a couple 10s. But definitely down the road for now, we'll just put him in the great pile. And actually, I think he deserves to be on our podium, because he's definitely the best card we got. So next up, let's see if we can get anything that will challenge Pavel Bure. Cliff Renning, number 236 of the Vancouver Canucks. And that's a common card there. Brad McCrimmon of 170 of the Detroit Red Wings. A little bit over $1, but still in common range. And let's be gentle here. Because of these glossy card surfaces, they do have a tendency to stick together in some cases. So, Yui Krupp, 202 of the New York Islanders. And a common card there. Benoit Hogue, 200, also of the New York Islanders. So we've been getting a couple of teammates back-to-back in these packs. I wonder if that's purely random or somewhat intentional. Next up, Alexei Gusarov, 221 from the Quebec Nordiques. And common card right there. And Brent Sutter of the Chicago Blackhawks, 164. Definitely a well-performing player. And his card value is a little above $1. So even of the commons, he's still performing well, but he'll go in that pile. And then Mike Hyo, 217 of the Quebec Nordiques. I think we've seen him before, so we're starting to learn them. Yep, that is also a common. So next pack is coming up. And let's see what we've got here. All right, looks like we have the Campbell Conference. So earlier we got, I forget exactly which conference, but this is another one. This is card 280. I'm guessing it's not going to be too valuable given the other one was not, and that would be correct. It's just under $1. So we'll gently peel that back because we don't know who's coming up next. Troy Murray, 247 of the Winnipeg Jets. And Troy's coming in at common level as well, under $1. Darian Shannon, 246, also the Winnipeg Jets. Here we go again. Teammate next to teammate. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see if it's a thing. But common value for Darren as well. And I'll try to get better at flipping the cards so you can see the front, as we're turning them, even if they are commons. Joseph Beranek, 255. Let's see, of the Edmonton Oilers. Common card there. Terry Karkner, 212 of the Philadelphia Flyers. Common card. Let's gently separate these. That's cool, though. You could see in this series, too, I believe was one of the first ones that mixed the color and the black and white. And you could start to see here how the player is obviously highlighted in color and everything else around them, black and white. So pretty cool feature of the early 90s, and you see that a lot more today. So that was the Terry Karkner card. And Alexander Mogilny, 283 of the Buffalo Sabres. Definitely a notable player. And his card's a little above $1, though still going to be in the common range. And next we have Gary Lehman, 162 of the Calgary Flames. And his card is a common as well. And Don Sweeney, 153 of the Boston Bruins. And that's what's good too. If anyone has these old card collections or sets or just stacks in your kind of a box from years ago, or you just bought recently at a garage sale or somewhere, once you kind of get familiar with a particular name and the players from that era, it becomes really easy to go through the rest. So hopefully this helps you if you're looking through something similar, that you may have. But it's definitely helping me because there's a lot of these to go through and see what we got. Paul Eiserbert, different than Paul Eiserman, and this Paul is a common card here. Vyacheslav Fetisov of the New Jersey Devils, number 199. And I'm thinking he may fall in the common range. Yep, just about $1. And that was back when they had the green uniforms as well, the green, red, and black. So next up we have Corey Millen, 185 of the LA Kings. That name is starting to sound familiar, so it's possible we've seen him earlier. Also a common. And last card, Mark Bergevin, 176 of the Hartford Whalers. And he'll be a common as well. So on to the next pack we go. First up, we have Al McInnes of the Calgary Flames. I'll get that, trust me. It may take some time, but I'll get it. 276. Yeah, but I think we've seen him earlier. It's around a $1.75 card, so just a little above common, but not super, super rare. So Pavel Bure is still our current champion of the day. Here we have the Wales Conference 281. I'm pretty sure we saw that one earlier. And so I'm just going to double check these first few so I don't skip anything. But as we remember more, we'll cruise through. Tony Almonte, 262 of the New York Rangers. Okay, he shows around a $26 PSA 10. And so that might be worth keeping, but I'll show you exactly why this one will be not. So if we look here and the angle, there's definitely looks like some printing wheel lines you could see right in here. So that would take any chance, even a remote chance at a 10 and absolutely demolished that. So, cool card, cool player, but we're going to toss this one into the common pile because of those very clear print lines that run up the entire card. And that's what's interesting around finding, PSA 10s or any other grading 10s is that you can get a card brand new out of the pack and it not even be remotely close to being a 10 or even a 9. And so that's kind of the fun too is that you may have, 2 dozen cards that you pull out of a box or something of the same player, the same rookie, but maybe one or two will have a shot at a 10. So we'll see how that hunt turns out. But for now, we're looking at Artis Urbe, 270 of the San Jose Sharks. I keep thinking he has value, but he does, but just a couple bucks, so above the regular commons, but still a common. All right, we have a celebrity captain, Marv Albert, number 291. And obviously, those in the sports world are familiar with him. At a PSA 10, he's around a $91 card. So let's check him out. And along with that, he deserves the horn. Now, the question is, does he replace Pavel Bure on our champions podium? I think I'm going to have to give this to Bure. Like, Marv is great. He is one of the all-time announcers, but Bure is a player on the ice, so I'm going to have to give this to Pavel, but definitely a cool pull on the Marv Albert, celebrity captain of the New York Rangers. Next up, Greg Pazlowski, 220 of the Quebec Nordiques. And I'm not sure if he'll be as big as Marv, more of a common card, but we'll keep on moving. Gord Murphy, we've seen him earlier. Now we're starting to get efficient, right? Kalle Johansson, 243 of the Washington Capitals. And we have a common in that, just around $1. And I'll try to mention, the general prices just to give context if somebody's looking. And for reference, I'm pulling these currently from Sports Card Pro, and I think they pull from different sources, so they may or may not be still, spot on as you watch, but they'll give us context where is it a $2 card or a $100 card. Kirk McLean, 239, we've seen him earlier. I believe we have. Let me just double check this one, but yes, he's a common. Good goalie for sure. Jeff Sanderson, 256 of the Hartford Whalers, common card. And also, I'll kind of point these things out too. If you notice, there's a little bit of a printing ink mark right here. It's kind of a blue dot. So this isn't a particularly valuable card, but had it been, that would definitely be a flaw on that, to consider. So we move along. John Cullen, number 175 of the Hartford Whalers. Again, we see back-to-back players from the same team. I wonder what the odds are of that. But we're definitely seeing a lot of it, whether or not that's intentional. So a common there. And Clint Malarchuk, 159 of the Buffalo Sabres. So we're getting a different team. And he's going to be just a little above $1. So common as well. But cool photo on that one. And we're going into our next pack. We have a few left to go. Let's see. I try to be gentle when I open these so we don't mess up any corners, because it's really that much of a difference between a good one and a worthless one. All right, we have Steve Larmer here, number 287 of the Chicago Blackhawks. And Steve is going to be a little above $1, so within our common range. Pretty cool sideways layout. All right, we got another Mike Richter, goalie of the New York Rangers. I remember from earlier, we've checked him out. Great player, though the card doesn't have tremendous value. So we put him in the common pile. Scott Millenby of the Edmonton Oilers. I believe we've seen him earlier today, but I'll just do a quick check there. And common card, just around $1, around 99 cents. And Oh, here we go. We got another celebrity captain. This is Larry King. We have seen him earlier, and he is definitely worth putting aside. I see a price of around $4 for ungraded, and so I have to check out what the grading value may be. But definitely cool. I don't think he'll unseat Pavel Bure from our champion circle, but we'll put him on the side pile for now. And another celebrity captain. We have Rick Hansen of the Vancouver Canucks. He is number 296. And yeah, he's around $1 or so. So he, I think, is more of a common card, but I'll put him aside in terms of celebrity captains because maybe somebody collects, just the captain cards. I think there are around 12 of them in this overall set. So that could be a fun thing to put together, kind of like a subset of those. Cliff Ronning, number 236 of the Vancouver Canucks. They were definitely a solid team, and he's coming in at around a common value as well, just around 25 cents for Cliff Ronning. And Brad McCrimmon, 170 of the Detroit Red Wings. And a little over $1. It's showing $1.34, so within our common range there. Yui Krupp, we looked at him earlier. Great player, common card. Benoit Hogue, same with that player as well. Alexei Gusarov, 221 of the Quebec Nordiques. And he's going to be a common card, just around 25 cents. So well within that common range. Marty McSorley of the LA Kings. Definitely an impact player. And his card value sits just around $1. So cool player, great team, and goes to our common section. And Mike Hugh again. He's everywhere. I think maybe even twice in the same pack. So I don't know what that means, but on to the next one we go. Let's see if we could pick up the pace here a little bit. I don't know. I won't go too fast, but let's keep it cruising. We need some good picks, some good finds, some more horns, another big win. So let's check out the first one here. Peter Zezel, 232 of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And 25 cents for him, so definitely in the common. David Bruce, 227 of the San Jose Sharks. Thinking he's going to fall in the common range, and he does, but around $1.30. So definitely on the higher end of the commons. And here we go. We have Fred Rogers, the celebrity captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you all might know him not as Fred Rogers, but as Mr. Rogers from the TV show. And his card value in the PSA 10 comes in around a $235. So big time value there as well. And a pretty significant pull. So we're definitely giving him the horn and the fireball because this is the big one. Probably one of the biggest ones in the set if it can grade well. So that's a really cool pull. And beyond it being, potentially, valuable, again, 10s are really tough to get, but it could be. We could check further. But it's Mr. Rogers. He's awesome. So let's put him in a sleeve very gently. And what I've found is putting cards into these sleeves. I'll put Mr. Rogers away. Oh, question. Does Mr. Rogers overtake Pavel Bure on our champions podium? That's a question. Mr. Rogers is pretty amazing, but I'll have to give it, since we're looking at hockey cards, Bure was an amazing player on the ice. So for now, Mr. Rogers, we're going to put you on our big time pile, but we're going to leave Bure on our champions podium. So next up we have Claude Vilgrain, 195, and I'm going to see if he's a common, which I think he might be in terms of this card's value, around 99 cents. So I'll show you when they go into the penny sleeves what happens, or what could happen. He's around $1, so I'm going to put him in our common pile. When I come across one that's around a 25-cent common, I'll show you the penny sleeve thing. So here we have 219, Jacques Cloutier, and he's around a 71-cent common card from the Quebec Nordiques. That's a pretty cool photo. That's a really cool photo. Got the puck flying in. I like that a lot. And Robert Richel, number 163 from the Calgary Flames. And he's a 25-cent common. So, all right, we got our common. So what I wanted to show you is that, and this may be especially helpful on these black cards. If you see, this edge is pretty clear with that reflective, black ink. And when I was using the penny sleeves, I would use the regular size ones. These are the oversized sleeves for the two, I think, millimeter cards. But I got them for regular cards because I noticed as I was putting things into penny sleeves, just the edge of this sleeve catching on the edge of the card can nick it and actually leave a mark in there. So for educational purposes, being this is a common card, I'm going to nick it a little bit and see if it shows up. I'm obviously going to be a little rougher than I would have been if I'm trying to gently put it in. But, perfect. So it's not showing too directly, but let me see what I could do. All right. And I did notice it more on some older cards. So like the late 80s cards that are more cardboard, that aren't as kind of refined as these and don't have the glossy protective surface. But nonetheless, let me see if I could show you a little bit right here. So you could probably see a tiny little white mark there and some little white marks there. And where it kind of came into contact with the sleeves. So if you're really looking for a PSA 10, those may become enough to turn it into a 9. And the value could dramatically change, especially with more delicate cards. This one didn't show you as visibly as I had seen on the other cards that I accidentally did that with. So try to take the knowledge from that and see what it could do to a less sturdy card. But the point is, I found when I use the 2 millimeter sleeves that there's a lot more room for it to flex as this card is going in, and so it's not going to bite as hard, especially when that last corner goes in. If there's not a lot of room, you're kind of fighting that corner. So there are some sleeves that have clipped corners to make that easier. It's kind of a known issue, but I found putting it into the larger sleeves makes a huge difference. And then if anything will get graded, it goes into the semi-rigid holder, which will kind of keep this pressed down. So you're not going to get a lot of movement side to side and edge to edge, which may damage corners, being that this is a little larger. So there may be a better way to do it. If you know it, please share. But for now, I've just been doing that to make the insertion process a little easier and less risky on the card. But by all means, if you know something better, tell me. I'm all about learning and figuring out the right way to do stuff well. So here we go. Back to the action. Brent Gilchrist 192 of the Montreal Canadiens. And he's a 25-cent common card there as well. Dale Hunter 245 of the Washington Capitals. And I have Dale at around $1.40. So common card, but not too crazy. Paul Eiserbert, 167 of the Detroit Red Wings. I'll get those words right, don't worry. 25 cents, and that was a great team. Ron Francis, 214 of the Pittsburgh Penguins. 214. And he's a little over $1.24. So still within that common. And then this gentleman, Wayne Presley, 228. I always see his name, and I'm like, oh, Wayne Gretzky, and it is not. I'm sure he's an amazing player as well. Coming in around $1 common value, but definitely gets me thinking Gretzky every time I see it. So maybe one of these times it will be Gretzky. So we got a few packs left. Let's tear through these. We already got some good cards. We got the Pavel Bure. We got the Mr. Rogers Celebrity Captain. So definitely some potential great ones in there. And this one we're starting with Pat Falloon, number 271. And you could see some of these corners naturally coming out are going to be pretty rough. See that whitening already on that corner? Especially on these cards with the black borders to them. So that, even if it was a great card, would not, likely not, grade a 10. But it's a common, so nothing to worry about there. Jamie McCown, 235 of the Toronto Maple Leafs. 25-cent common there. All right, Celebrity Captain. This one is number 293, and it is Jim Kelly of the Buffalo Sabres. And he comes in as a common value, so what I'll do is I'll put him with our other celebrity captains, maybe put a set together. Chris Drury, 288 of the New Jersey Devils. And he was in there, I believe, right before Brodeur came in. So he was one of the big guys back there, and then the legacy of Brodeur began. So he comes in around $1.17. Cool photo. Put him in our commons. Terry O'Reilly, number 289, celebrity captain of the Boston Bruins. And he's around $1.38, so a common one. And interesting, we just pulled 288, which was, Chris Drury, and then 289, the celebrity captain. So some interesting ways the cards get distributed, and we'll put him in our celebrity pile. 250, Kevin Holler of the Buffalo Sabres. 25-cent common, so we'll put him in that group. Stephen Leach, 151 of the Boston Bruins. And around a $2 common, so that's pretty neat. Usually we see them far less, but we'll put him in there. Ray Shepard, 169 of the Detroit Red Wings. 25-cent common. And Jeff Sanderson, we've seen him earlier. Now we start to get efficient. Adam Graves, 207 of the New York Rangers. I feel like he should be worth more than he is, but he's coming up at around $26 for a PSA 9. So I wonder if there may be potential, of value in a PSA 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop him in a sleeve just in case. And then down the road, we'll do a little more research into card values and where they're at in today's market and so on and so forth. But for now, we'll toss him in that pile. Peter Stastny, 194 of the New Jersey Devils. And with him, around $1.02. So another common there. And Neil Wilkinson, 229 of the San Jose Sharks. So there we have Neil at around the 99-cent common. And I wonder if I have to figure out a better way of turning them over, because in the one sense, if they're face down, easy to see the number, easier to get through the looking up portion of this, so it doesn't take, an insanely long period of time. But then, whenever, I pull one on over, the one below it becomes immediately visible. So I don't know if it's a big deal or not. Let me know if you have an opinion one way or another, but I'll ponder if there's another way to do that and keep some surprise while also making it a little quick and efficient. All right. Jeff Hackett, 226 of the San Jose Sharks. 99 cents. And if this was like some, super fancy set of cards where there's only 10 and they're all worth, thousands of dollars, would do something fancy with the reveals, but we don't want to be ridiculous given that most of these are just common cards with a few really cool ones inside and well worth looking for them. So here we go. We have Gaetan Boucher, 298, a celebrity captain. And I believe that's the Quebec Nordiques. He's around $1.75, so we'll add him to our captain's pile. That's pretty cool. Brent Ashton, 155 of the Boston Bruins. And coming in around $1.69. And for a lot of these dollar cards, it's really about somebody online trying to finish a set or buying their favorite player or something. So it's not like if we sold all these cards, we can get $1 or $2 each one. that would be insanely different than what it is. You could usually buy a whole set of these without the popular players for, 15 bucks or something. So these values are really more one-offs if somebody's trying to buy, that particular card. Luciano Barato, 275, player for the Winnipeg Jets, and coming in as a 25-cent common. Nelson Emerson, 269 of the St. Louis Blues. And he's going to be around $1.89. So it's a cool value for a common. Randy Hillier, 158. You can see the printing on this is a little shifty. There's some little ghosting around the letters, so kind of a print or maybe even a glossing issue with that. But I don't think it's going to be a super valuable card. So 25-cent common. Ooh, but that cool black and white, picture on the front. So definitely a cool card. Claude Lapointe, number 267 of the Quebec Nordiques. And Claude's coming in at a 25-cent common. Eric Desjardins, 193 of the Montreal Canadiens. And I want to say I know he's a cool player, but his card doesn't have a huge amount of value, so on we go to the next one. And this is going to be Kay Whitmore, 178 of the Hartford Whalers. And he's coming in around $1.20. It's a cool goalie photo there. And what's interesting here is if you look real close, you could see this edge on the second card in from the pack is a little bent. So again, you never know with new cards what you're going to get. Doug Gilmour, 234. And $1.46 common. That's kind of cool. Claude Lemieux, 196 of the New Jersey Devils. Really good player. Card is going to be a little over $1, has it at $1.11, but great card for a Devils fan. And Brent Sutter, 164. I think we've seen him already, and he's $1.24 in the common range. All right, this is it. Our final pack. We've got as our current leader, Pavel Bure, with Fred Rogers a very close second. Let's see if we could pull something neat, maybe a Brett Hull or a Claude Lemieux or a Wayne Gretzky or a Nicholas Lindstrom rookie card. He's in there. Dominic Hasek rookie cards in here. Let's see what we got. First off, we have a celebrity captain, David Wheaton, number 294. And he's going to be around $1. What's cool about this one is once you see in a moment, he's actually a tennis player. So a tennis player has his own hockey card. And there you go. So just another fun part of the set is we're seeing, Mr. Rogers, and we're seeing a tennis player and a hockey card. So while not crazy valuable, just some cool quirks of an old set that make it fun to go through. And Kevin Todd at 260. He's going to be 25-cent common there. And Bob Esesna, 285 of the Winnipeg Jets. The goalie for that team, $1.49, common value. Cool goalie shot, really good photo. And it's cool, you could see even on his pads the wear from the puck, and just pretty neat to see that. All right, Derek King, 201. I feel like we have seen this one already, 99-cent common. And Jerke Lume, 237. And 25-cent common. He was on that really powerful Canucks team. Ron Sutter, 222. I think, again, we've seen this one before. 25-cent common. That's what that was, the cool black and white photo there. Mike Donnelly, 183 from the LA Kings. And we're getting very close to the end. Let's see if anybody can topple Bure or if he's going to be our champ through this. Mikhail Tatarinov, 218 of the Quebec Nordiques. And 25-cent common there. Neil Broughton, 188 of the Minnesota North Stars. How's that for a team? So Neil Broughton bringing around $1. Common card there. Steve Cornoid, 177 of the Hartford Whalers. And 25-cent. Look at those green uniforms. All right. Alexei Kazatonov, 198 of the New Jersey Devils. And we are getting common card to our last card. What will it be? Bernie Nichols, 174 of the Edmonton Oilers. And 80 cents common card, and that is it. So with that, let's take a look at our haul for the day. And the ones that we put aside that had potential value are going to be these right here. We have our Adam Graves. Let's see if you can see. There we go. We have our Mr. Rogers. That's a great one. We have potential value in Larry King. We have potential value in Marv Albert. Second Larry King. And then we have Brian Benning, 182 of the LA Kings. And let's not forget right up here, our champion, Pavel Bure. Cannot beat that. Great card. Look at this collection. Really cool personalities, really good players. So that's what makes pulling what is otherwise these cheap packs just a whole lot of fun, because not only do we get to see these, some of these may have actual value as well, and we'll get to explore that later. So there you have it. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Opens, and let me know your thoughts, ways to improve the presentation, ways to improve, what we're doing. Definitely welcome to hear all that, and just have fun along the way. We'll learn about cards, about prices, and your collection as well, as you kind of look through what may be here that you might have. So thanks for joining. Have fun, and until next time.